Harbor, where the whispers of the past guide us to the truth. I'm Christian Stovall, the American heiress and founder of the fair, and this is our sanctuary. Hush harbors were secret gathering places where our ancestors met in the cover of darkness, away from watchful eyes. They came together to speak freely, to remember, to resist. And now, we reclaim that space. Here, we'll uncover hidden histories, decode the symbols all around us, and piece together the truth that was stolen. This is our time, our story, and our journey together. Welcome to the Hush Harbor. Let's find our way home. Welcome to the Hush Harbor, everybody. Let everybody know we're on. Welcome. My name is Christian Stovall, the American heiress, the founder of the Foundation of American Indian Restoration and Education, also known as the FAIR. And this is episode 2 of our Hush Harbor. So Hush Harbors were secret gatherings that the original Americans would have, where they would be able to talk about the truth, discuss plans, talk about their spirituality. Hey, what's good? I just see people on. Hey, good. What's good? Smoke Signal. Hi, Kai. What's good, George? Welcome, you guys. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about encroachment. A little bit about me is I grew up. Hey, Halito. I grew up in this system, like I'm sure the majority of people in America and California in the Bay Area. And I was taught the same history as the rest of us, that Black people, the Negro, those of us who love to sing and dance and who have this radiant soul about us, you know, the soul people, soul food, soul music, okay? That we came here from Africa. We were stolen from our homes in Africa and brought here as slaves. And when I decided to start to research my family history, I found out that that was actually a lie. And my ancestors have always been here in America. In fact, they were what they considered American Aborigines, indigenous people, or just the free inhabitants, the original Americans. And I found out that this lie didn't only apply to me and my bloodline, like we were just rare, but no, the American Negro itself has always been here. And in fact, society, history even proves that there was really only white and what they were calling colored at the time. The same history that we know, where it was Jim Crow with no colored signs and the civil rights, and all of those things are just what we can remember of our colonization. And we're actually the original Americans, and our land and our identity and our resources and our way of life has been taken and stolen and hidden. But the proof is always in the pudding. And the more that you dig, it's easier to find the truth. And so what we talk about on this channel is the truth. Welcome, you guys. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get into the movie. So the more I learned about myself, the more I was able to recognize our history here in America in Disney movies. Now, let me give you a little example. I will show you guys. Hold on now. I'll show you guys like a little bit of my ancestry. If this is your first time watching, I come from the Coxes of Richmond, Virginia. They served on juries. They helped build the Union Republican Party during Reconstruction. We have always been here. And what I'm finding out is these people who still alongside these white folks here were the indigenous people, but their identity was stolen by their white counterparts. And that goes into the definition of American. Or let me give you guys another one. Let me get down. I come from the what I call the Royals of Mount Vernon. So the people who were on the plantations, what you'll learn is that they were there as hostages per like treaties that was part of sometimes tribes or bands of people, because not all free inhabitants were necessarily what they call tribal. We were clannish, okay? We had family units and stuff like that, but some of that history has been a little skewed. So I'm just speaking freely. But what I had found out is that what they were doing was they were putting for instance, these are descendants of the Indian kings and queens of Virginia. Billy Lee and Westford, who is said to be the Negro son of George Washington. These are my ancestors, okay? And so I found out that they have been telling me this story. They've been waking me up since about 2008 about what's really going on here in America and who we are here as Negroes. And like I said, so the more I started to understand these stories, because it's very specific, it's not and not necessarily just specific to my bloodlines. Okay, we're all going to find that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's very specific to the dynamics between white America and Black America. And what we're finding out, America, okay, is that the Negro, the Black people, the colored folks, the ones who have been hung on trees and all these things, we have always been here. Now, that is reflected in the movie Trolls. We're getting into Trolls tonight. You guys ready? Okay. So first things first is the Trolls are they represent Black people, okay? And it's very obvious because of all the things that they say. I mean, they have the hair that goes up to the put your hair up in the air, right? We're the ones who have the hair that can grow out like that. The singing, the dancing, the joy, okay? But on top of those little things, the movie actually gets very specific about history that is connected to the Negro. And then when you dig deeper and you realize who we are and who the Bergens are, it becomes very clear that we were here first. Okay. So I will just play the first clip and then we're going to get into it.
The most miserable creatures in all the land. And once they saw how happy the trolls were, they wanted some of that happiness for themselves. Oh my god. Eating a troll made them feel so happy. They started a tradition. Once a year, every year, the Bergens would gather around the troll tree to taste happiness. On a holiday they called Trollstice.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind it one more time too. Hold on, let me even go further.
But then one day, the trolls were discovered by a Bergen.
Hold on. Here we go, guys.
But then one day, the trolls were discovered by a Bergen. The Bergens didn't know how to sing, or dance, or even hug. They were the most miserable creatures in all the land. And once they saw how happy the trolls were, they wanted some of that happiness for themselves.
Okay. So now we're going to get into they wanted this happiness for themselves. And let me show you guys. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I will play our foundational video. Okay. So, because some people might be watching, right? And they have never heard this information before. Oh, so we also come with receipts. So part of what we do with the foundation that we're building, the fair, is setting the record straight. But because the truth is in the pudding, right? The proof is in the pudding. What we're finding out is that the Black people have been declared Americans. And the our white counterparts, these settlers, have been declared settlers. And this is according to Ancestry.com. And what we do at the fair is we connect that with census records, the definition of American, the emblem of America, very solid things to set the record straight so that Black people all over who have been denied a right to their land, to their freedom, to their identity, to their nationality, can have something to stand on as they reclaim their birthright. Okay? Because, oh yeah, so, okay, let me back up. God, sorry. Because I was asking God, I said, well, what do you want me to tell people? You know, I know we're going to go over these things, and I'm excited to get that in there. And it's like, okay, slow down, girl, because it is late too. You know, we all gotta go bed. But I'm just saying. And I was hearing to tell the people they're free. Every single time I get on, I need to tell you guys that you're free, because he doesn't know what else to say. And, you know, we must be the messengers and to spread the gospel and the good news that we're free. Okay. So first and foremost, that's the first big news, is that we're free. And how do we know that? Is because once you know thyself, okay, you would understand that what we are currently living in isn't necessarily freedom, and certain things would have to be addressed or rectified so that people can safely obtain freedom in whatever way that they choose. Okay. And that all goes with understanding that we're Americans. Okay. Because and to reconnect with your roots. All right. The reason why they wanted Black people to forget their roots here in America was because, you know, because our roots tied to the land. Our roots are tied to the land and who we are here. And we would reconnect to our ancestors who once lived here for free. Oh, God, I finally did it. Oh, it's out there. I'm like, maybe am I missing something? Yes. Okay. We used to live here for free. Now that is, I mean, let me show you guys. And even in the Trolls, you can see that, right? They like to sing, the dance, the hair. Okay. In the movie they show, I don't know why, I don't know if I got a chance to show the beginning. I tried twice, so it's all, let me see. I'll play it again in just a second. And the foundation in a little bit, but this is going with what I'm talking about. The Trolls were there minding their merry, happy, joyful, you know what I mean, business. And then afterwards, the Bergens show up, right? And they cage in their tree, and the tree represents the land, okay? And this also represents encroachment, okay? So I said we were going to talk about encroachment. So what we're not understanding is that that when we hear the stories about settlers coming and they were encroaching on Indians' land and things like that, that the land that they were encroaching on were our communities, and that we were here first, and they started to settle in the outskirts of our town, but we lived in the middle. This is what you call an inner city, a hub. Okay, we're getting to the meat of it. You guys ready? I'm gonna play the foundation, and then we're gonna continue on with the this Trolls, so that we can edify everybody watching. Okay, let's see.
Who are the original Americans? History has been rewritten, but the truth remains. The Foundation for American Indian Restoration and Education, or simply the FAIR, is here to set the record straight. Our foundation is simple. The FAIR stands on its signature original American identifiers to define what an original American truly is. Our mission is to uncover the truth, reconnect descendants, and restore a lost heritage. Through our FAIR Original American identifiers, we reveal the true identity of the original American. The emblem of America. The emblem of America is an allegorical figure from the British Museum and is noted to be an ethnic representation of the American people. So what exactly is an American? The definition of American. The 1828 Webster's Dictionary defines an American as a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginal, or copper-colored races, found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Colonial and U.S. Census records. Early U.S. Census records show that for the first 70 years, only two racial categories existed: colored and white. Who were these colored people? The fair asserts that they were the original inhabitants of this land. DNA. Ancestry.com DNA analysis labels the only communities for the region of indigenous North America as either African American or European settler. Surprisingly, there aren't any Native American communities listed for these lands, leaving the African American communities the only ones given the nationality American, proving that those labeled as African American today are the true original Americans. Your ancestry holds the key. The fair encourages everyone to research their genealogy, connect with historical records, and rediscover their true roots. Every generation carries a piece of the story, one that deserves to be reclaimed. Join us in reclaiming history. Visit the fair today. Connect with your roots and restore your identity.
Okay, so for more information about that, you guys can find us at Fair Rules. That's FAIRERULES.org. And what we're doing is standing on business, okay? It's like, wait a minute, get it how you live, right? 10 toes down, we're standing on business. I'm a mixed up, all right? We're stepping, all right? And so, because like we were learning in Wreck-It Ralph, all we have to do is stand up. And it's our right. So it's not even super revolutionary. It should be expected because we have dignity and right. We're people, okay? And once we have found out who we are, it's only right, like for us to say, hey, and start to advocate for ourselves for once, okay? Because what we have been taught is, it's like we have gotten into an integrated system where they have taught us how to advocate the way they wanted us to advocate. So when we're talking about, controlled opposition, they have even done that to us psychologically by just telling us to fight from a certain position. So like, for instance, a lot of Black people now, we're like, wanting to reconnect to our roots, but they told us our roots are in Africa. So that was an easy way for us. They're like, they know how to use our own desires against us, right? So if they know we have taken your history away from you, your heritage, so that one, you're not connected to the land, because why? They're enjoying it, okay? And so, and mind you, it is what it is. What I'm saying is, we have a right to, one, know who we are. We have a right to our land. We have a right to our resources. We have a right to our freedom. And none of us should be having to pay for housing, for food, for what else? I mean, all of the things that we initially did somehow get, but it's like, no, at the end of the day, we need to renegotiate the contract. Okay, and that's another thing. As more people continue to tune in, we'll be able to talk about that and how we're going to start to talk real ish. Okay, so that we understand what we need to do in all arenas and all areas of our lives. Okay, because at the end of we've gotten a shitty end of the deal. Okay, back to this. All right. So, like I said, they had us surrounded. Do you guys see this? This is our land. They came, they cornered us in the middle, and then they would use our hoed ground around us, which became the suburbs. Okay, that is the truth of the layout of towns and what has happened. People don't realize that we had these towns first, and we lived in the inner city because that was the city. It was just our community, and then they built around us. And so this is also reflected in the Ancestry.com data when it comes to what they call ancestral journeys. So like the video explained, if you're just tuning in, we're finding out that Ancestry.com is not telling us the full truth about our results. There's another portion of the test called Ancestral Journeys, where we find out that there aren't any Native American communities for the region of Indigenous American North. Okay, so where are those at? All right, so listen. Indigenous America's North, there's nothing, okay? But we're finding out that there are two different types of communities that fill up that map. They're either African American communities or European settler communities. And if they can put American after African, they could put American with settler, but they have chosen not to because American is actually an ethnicity. There are people of these lands, and the blood goes back to the people that they have been calling colored. And that also reflects in the census records. Okay, we were here since the very beginning, whether enslaved or free. They never teach us about the free inhabitants, okay, and who they were and what they looked like. Okay, but yeah, we've been here for forever. And so back to the Trolls movie, because it's gonna get deep, okay? So we're getting into the encroachment, right? So let me play that part one more time. Hey, it was good, American Indian. Yay! He was like, okay, so oh no, I'm silly. Okay, no. Let me get to the clip. So you guys are ready? Let's see. So we're gonna move on to one more. Which one are we doing? Let's see. Oh, well, no. First, I'm gonna show you guys this one. So in the movie Peter Pan, they talk about this encroachment, the surrounding of towns, okay?
Blackfoot tribe. Belongs to the Algonquin group. Quite savage, you know.
Let's go get him.
Gentlemen! First, we must plan our strategy.
What strategy?
A plan of attack. The initial phase is an encircling maneuver. Remember, the Indian is cunning, but not intelligent. Therefore, we simply surround them and take them by surprise.
Okay. So do you see what I'm saying? So it's a thing to surround them and take them by surprise. Okay. So that is what we're seeing in the Trolls movie. Now, mind you, we hear them say that they were discovered. Okay. They were living there on their own. Let me see. These are just starting a little bit. And they were discovered by the Bergens. Now it gets really more attached to our history as we continue on with this. This is, mind you, the opening scene, the first 5 minutes of the movie Trolls, okay? The DreamWorks movie Trolls. So let's go here.
Trollstice! Oh, one day to be happy! Keeper of the Trolls, your Minister of Happiness, your Royal Chef, me. This is a very special Trollstice, as there is one amongst us.
Okay, so I'm a dang, I think I messed up the sides. I'm sorry. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit about the symbolism of what we just watched. One, when we're seeing first, we see that they're there by themselves, living happily. Okay, then they get entrapped. Okay, and then surrounded, and then what we're seeing when they start to gather around the tree, that is a lynching. Okay, and oh my goodness. We're seeing the trolls hanging from the tree. It's what they're showing us. They're depicting a lynching. And if you're watching this and you're not aware or you're not familiar with American history, in the past, in order to control the Negroes, the colored folks who were the original Americans, the colonists, the settlers, because they were there in a foreign land. So they felt like they always needed to enact fear because they were outnumbered. And so what they would do is they would, and mind you, also what they were doing was they were just starting a big fight just so they can go and kill a whole bunch of us and then run us off and then take over large amounts of land. And this started happening in like, well, this happened in waves throughout history. Okay. This picture here is from 1930. So this is around the time of like Red Summer. This one's even later, 1946. And these things happen even to this day. You know, I haven't really looked too much into the story about those twins, but I'm thinking that was some sort of modern day lynching. I don't know if you guys are familiar with there's some twins who were killed in like on a mountain or something like that. And I was like, oh no, something like that don't feel right. Okay, yeah. So and it's very interesting. So you guys ready? I'm reading. It says, wow, I never paid attention to that watching it back in the day. Well, exactly. Hey, what's good? 407. What's that? The area code you from? I love that. Well, 407 is my special number because my birthday's on April 7th, like 407. Anyway, so I was like, oh, okay, hey, 407 in the house. Hey. Anyway, so yes, this is sick. Okay, this is very it's very disturbing, but it's also very telling. Okay, again, just like in Wreck-It Ralph, where we saw like Ralph getting beaten by the police, running by the police. Like, oh, it's your birthday too. Hey, it's my birthday twin. That's crazy. Our birthday's coming up. It's Aries season, brother. Okay. But yes, we hear in Wreck-It Ralph, you know, Ralph, all these things about, you know, I mean, how he has to live in the brick dump. They have all these little like microaggressions towards him, like, oh God, he came to the, mind you, he wasn't invited to the party. He could never party with people. All types of stuff. He came to the party and they're like, oh, hi, China. Like they're always trying to make it seem like we're thieves. But when we find out the truth is that they came here and stole our identity and our land and our lifestyle. It's very hypocritical. Okay. But and that's another reason why we have to tell the truth, because it's like, you know, it seems kind of like, oh God, why are you bringing all these things up? But it's like, because we're nobody's going to just sweep this under the rug, because our people need to know what's going on. We need to know so that we can heal, we can reconnect with our roots, with our lands. Like we desperately need to reconnect with Mama Earth. Duh. Okay. We have to start to treat ourselves with humanity. And once we see ourselves with humanity and honor and respect the cycles that we, you know, have to go through without it being, you know, hindered by having to keep up with the system, then I think that'll also help to usher in our restoration. We have to want it for ourselves, and we have to know that we are worth our freedom and our restoration. Hey, another Aries. What's good? George Richard said his birthday's on 4/1. Okay, we're gonna have a big Aries party. Okay, I'm down for that. You're in the right room right now. You're in the right chat. Because you know, like we be celebrating all month. I do. It's my birthday. Okay. I'm silly. Okay. So yes, especially because it's not even a funny topic. But also I realized that it's like, no, our hush, we're gonna have some fun. I should have played some music in the beginning. I got right to it. So yes, so what we're watching is a modern day lynching. So I'm gonna play it again so that we can see so that we can see the scene again with our new lenses. You guys ready? All right.
Solstice! Oh, one day to be happy! Please give it up for your keeper of the trolls, your minister of happiness, your royal chef, me. This is a very special trollstice, as there is one amongst us.
Okay, so we saw that. Now there's another part here where we see her, they're lighting up these barbecue grills. Now this gets sick, because if I told you the trolls are the Negroes and the Bergens are the white folks, and now we see these white folks gathering around the tree where the Negroes are hanging from, the trolls, okay, and they're lighting up these barbecues. There was this thing that they used to sometimes call lynchings Negro barbecue. I'll read a little bit. It says, victims were dragged behind cars, pierced with knives, burned with hot irons or blowtorches, had their fingers and toes cut off, had their eyes cut out, and were castrated, all before being hanged or burned to death. One Mississippi newspaper referred to these gruesome acts as Negro barbecues. While attendees at lynchings did not take away a plate of food, the experience of having witnessed the event was thought incomplete if one did not go home with some piece of cooked human being. And there is much anecdotal evidence of lynch crowds either consuming food and drink while taking part in the execution, or retiring en masse immediately afterward for a meal, or in the case of a notorious immolation in Pennsylvania in 1911, ice cream sundaes. Oh, come on, let's go. The whole family wanted to get some ice cream sundaes, okay, after lynching one of us. I mean, look at this. People were there. These people were on a date. I don't know if you guys can see my my cursor here, but to the left of the screen, like it's like a romantic date. Sometimes you can see some of these things. You'll see children. These were family affairs. And this is what they're talking about in the movie. But let's not forget that the trolls were there first. Okay. And then their town got surrounded, which we're learning by studying the communities through Ancestry.com. We're learning that through the actual history, the way everything is laid out. Why we live in the inner city is because that was the original city. That was the hub. That's where the people were. And then we, oh my God. Like, I know I'm telling about it, but it's like, even still when I listen and I hear it, it's like, oh my goodness. It's a lot to think. Like, our ancestors were probably like, what's going on here? So let's keep going. A ritualistic and joyous occasion, okay, to initiate you in the ways of true happiness. That's what she says. She was their minister of what was it? Happiness, okay? And so according to the Jim Crow Museum, this is where I'm pulling these from about lynching. It says, often the lynch mob acted with haste, but on other occasions, the lynching was a long, drawn-out affair with speeches, food eating, and unfortunately, ritualistic and sadistic torture. Although women and children were not typically the active aggressors, they were often in the audience, and they too celebrated. In 1903, a black man was lynched in Greenville, Mississippi. A white writer said, "Everything was very orderly. There was not a shot, but much laughing and hilarious excitement. It was quite a gala occasion. And as soon as the corpse was cut down, all the crowd betook themselves to the park to see a game of baseball." So when I say that they are coding so like very serious things in here, the fact that it's even getting down to the fact that they touched on how happy this was something happy for white America to hang us from the trees, to taste like, and they're telling us the truth. They don't want to spell it out that they were eating it, but that's the truth. That's what they wanted to do. They eat the trolls. Okay, remember, let's watch these again real quickly. Now let's watch it the first two together. With our new lenses. Okay, hold on.
They're the most miserable creatures in all the land. And once they saw how happy the trolls were, they wanted some of that happiness for themselves.
Oh my god.
Eating a troll made them feel so happy. They started a tradition. Once a year, every year, the Bergens would gather around the troll tree to taste happiness. On a holiday they called Trollstice.
Trollstice! Oh, one day to be happy!
That's a mob. Okay, check the barbecue pits. And you see the people hanging from the tree?
Your minister of happiness, your royal chef, me. This is a very special Trollstice, as there is one amongst us.
Okay, now I'm going to continue it. Okay, so because we're going to get into the last part about this intro, okay? So we see that they're preparing the grills. They're calling it a joyous occasion. It's very ritualistic. And then watch what happens when they go to eat the troll. I'm sorry. Ooh. Let's see. You guys ready?
It's fake?
They're gone?
Where are they? Don't worry, sire. We'll find them.
I think I hear something.
Okay, you see that. The trolls had escaped. Okay, they're getting ready to eat them. They realize it's like, oh, this is fake. They all hit down to the ground. And what we are just seeing was an underground railroad. When I tell you this movie is about us and how we were here first and how these people had surrounded us and encroached on our land, and then how they were hanging us from trees and barbecuing our bodies. And then we escaped through an underground railroad. And I mean, the symbolism with the lantern or the torch, that is one of the main symbols of the Underground Railroad, is the light, to light the way. The Underground Railroad, if you guys don't know, was a secret network helping enslaved people escape to freedom in the 19th century. Key figures like Harriet Tubman guided them to safety. The main symbol of the Underground Railroad was a lantern, representing a signal for safety and guidance, often displayed. We're going to see. Oh, at a house, I think you can see. But my little cursor's over it. So what I'm trying to say is, so yes, is our message for the night. Was looking at the intro of Trolls. We'll talk about it a little bit more too, in a daytime stream. But I'm excited. Thank you guys for joining me on the Hush Harbor. One, you guys should watch if you guys want to and see. Let me know what you guys see in these movies. What else? Oh, well, the other thing I was going to talk about a little bit was the fact that we were neighbors with, white America. Like I said, they were either surrounding us. There'd be a white side of town, a black side of town, or whatnot. That was them settling our neighborhoods. That's why all the history is about them interacting with us and what that looked like. And that's why their sign said for us not to come back. Okay. Because they were taking over our lands. I think about that a lot. But I will show you guys a little bit about. Oh, well, let me say before I do that, I'm going to take a moment, you guys. If you guys have not signed the petition yet, we're reviving our petition to Ancestry.com so that we can have transparency in the results and they can tell the truth and stop attributing our DNA to Africa when we are originating here in America. And I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about in this video. Here we go.
For years, we've been told a version of history that simply isn't true. But what if I told you that the proof of who the true original Americans are has been hiding in plain sight inside Ancestry.com's own data? Most people only pay attention to the ancestral regions in their DNA results. But there's another section most people overlook, something called ancestral journeys. And this section tells a very different story. In the region known as Indigenous America's North, there are only two community groups listed: African American and European settler. No Native American communities. None. That means, according to Ancestry.com, the only groups historically rooted in this land are Black Americans and European settlers. This lines up exactly with the 1828 Webster's Dictionary definition of American, which states an American is a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals, or copper-colored races, found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So who are the present-day, copper-colored Aboriginals from these lands? The African Americans. And who are the descendants of the European arrivals? The settlers. How do we know this is the truth? Because in Ancestry.com's own data, they are giving Black Americans the nationality American, while labeling their oppressors settlers. The truth has been in front of us all along. This isn't just about one group. This is about correcting history for everyone. Ancestry.com's own research confirms what has been hidden for centuries, but they refuse to acknowledge it. That's why we're calling on Ancestry.com to tell the truth. Our petition demands full transparency and an end to this misclassification. Because history belongs to all of us, and it's time to set the record straight. Sign the petition now. Share this video. Because the truth matters to all of us.
Okay, so sign the petition if you have not. Share with people. We are getting things up and going. I'm super excited to start to share these broadcasts with my Facebook. Okay, hey, hi, what's good, Daryl? Oh, hey, what's good, cousin? Hey, Marina fam in the house. Mungapo. It's so good to have you on. Let's see. Wow, thank you for breaking down the untold history that they never taught us in school. Every story, there we go. Every story has a hidden message, and I enjoy how you break it down. Much love to you. Stay strong. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Daryl Butler. I appreciate it. It was good learning and building. Hey, it's so good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Hush Harbor. So our nighttime streams are called the Hush Harbor. They are fashioned after our, nighttime meetings that our ancestors used to have, where they would be able to discuss their plans and what was really going on. Okay. And so when I have time during nighttime, I'm going to come on and do these. Okay. And I'll try to get on during the daytime too. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll do like a poll or something, find out when's the best time to get to contact people. I know it's late, so I appreciate you guys being on. Honors and good to see you. It's so good to see you guys too. So I'm excited because what we're doing with these is so much, right? So I will be teaching people how what I have been doing and how to do that in their own area, so that they can help carry and fulfill the mission of the fair, which is to reassert the American Negro as the original Americans, okay, as part of the indigenous American family here, okay. And so what part of what we're doing is I'll be teaching folks who are interested in how to get involved in their community and how we are going to spread this message like that, grassroots style, and as well as use these stories to connect with schools, even police forces and whatnot. I have a wonderful it's like a police reform course that I'm working on using the Wreck-It Ralph movie, and using the foundation as far as teaching people who the original Americans are and how systemic racism and over policing is rooted in the fact that that's part of the colonization, and that was how they were subduing the original people. So it's cool to use these Disney movies to be able to teach people in ways like that, and it gives us a way to be able to finally have a seat at the table as who we are with the original Americans, and make change within our communities. Okay. That's what we're doing. All right. That's the fair. It was good. Black Indian immigrated. What's good? How are you guys? The whole family. Okay. Hey y'all. About the last Thursday, you told the truth and that. Wow, I know, George. Oh yeah, I forgot to say thank you so much for showing. I sat there and I right after that stream, I sat there and I watched it for the whole entire. That's probably exactly 45 minutes after the stream ended. I posted that video like boop. But yes, in that what George is talking about is the last speech that Martin Luther King gave at a church, and I think the church was in DC or something like that. He mentions that we were here, okay, before the founding fathers. We were here before you guys landed here, all of the stuff. And then a few days later, he passed. Okay, well, he was murdered. Assassinated. And so I feel like that's definitely related. Okay, he's been wanting to say stuff, and it's like, and that's why I love him. It's like, I felt like he did his best at every stage of awareness that he was at. He wanted to help people, okay? And when he finally realized exactly who he was and what was going on, he was like, okay. And that's where we're at right now, because at the end of the day, we are at an amazing time where the information is free flowing, where we can establish. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's a catch-22. While they were using the DNA to, tell us that we're from Africa, to kind of like kill any chance that we had to be able to connect back to the land, they can't really do that. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you start to look at the ancestral journeys, it's just us and the settlers, because they were settling our land. Okay. They were encroaching, like we showed with the Peter Pan, how they said, who, the Blackfoot. Okay. The Algonquin. Okay. Hey, all my Algonquin family who's up on here. Okay. Ngapo. And, and what was I saying? And they're talking about surrounding us, the encroachment. We get to see with the trolls, right? How we were here, the inner city, and then they trapped us in, and then they built around us these suburbs, okay? Or even when we look at these, right? How here's our communities, and they were settling around us. Okay. And then also, you'll also see that these, here, I'd have to get these ones up here too. But how they were settling even originally our lands. Like all of these overlap. And that's where we would see even more policing, because, I was even talking to another parent, and she was telling me about going to an HBCU, and how in the area that the school is at, it was just kind of like woods, and then you just have this one town, and it was all Black people. And I'm like, that's still one of the like, there's still places that are still just Black people. And that's another thing I was thinking about. Like, I was watching, like, I don't know if I was scrolling, this was like months ago, but it was something about Detroit, and somebody in the comments, so because it was like it looked like San Francisco or something, with all these different people, it was very diverse. Okay. And somebody was like, Detroit doesn't look the same anymore. And somebody was confused about what they were talking about, but they had to specify that. It was like, no, this Detroit used to be a Black town. Okay. Or something like that. And it's like all these towns used to be Black, but now we're not realizing that these were once our towns, and they have been opened up to the world, and all of these people are treating us poorly because they've been taught, like I said, in the Wreck-It Ralph. So that's another way that we're working with, partnering with after school programs and whatnot, so that we can teach kids of all races who the original Americans are, and why they might, because sometimes I've noticed that, like I told you about that horrible bullying story. Did I tell you guys about that? But I don't know. Sometimes these kids they're being mean to the little kids who are, brown, our original American babies. And our kids don't understand what's going on. I don't even know if the kids understand what's going on. They just know that this little girl's different. This little boy's different. And I kind of want to, tease them or pick on them, just like in the movie. Like, I'll show you. There you go.
Come on.
Sourville, that glitch cannot be allowed to race and bring.
Or really, I was wanting to play. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I'm trying to find the clip, y'all. There's a lot sitting over here, though. It's driving me nuts, though. Okay, so we're going to watch this a little bit, and then I'll get into...
There's no way that I am racing with a glitch. Francis, Candlehead, come on.
Sourville, that glitch cannot be allowed to race and bring that thing to my castle. Just... Get them! Gangway! Stop in the name of the king! That's me! Now we got him. Oh, good. The cop. She went that way. Ow! Dad, what are you doing?
Inaction of the 17 officers may now be investigated by the U.S. Attorney's Office for possible civil rights violations. But of greater concern, said the county attorney, are the results of interviews with some of the police bystanders.
Okay, so it's like, using these movies to be able to teach people, teach institutions how to, I don't know, this is like part of, it could be part like professional development for, like anti-racism training and things like that. Same here in Huntsville. A lot of areas where it's predominantly white used to be Black. Majority of where HBCUs are at always majority of Black places. Yeah, and it's like so interesting. So I was like, wow. And so she was saying it's all in the woods, like, just like cut off from everything. Not cut off, but like, it's its own. It's like we had our own enclaves, our own cities, our own towns, and they're still there. Even though now they're becoming gentrified, and not all of them, but more and more of our land has become like that, and we're not realizing it, starting with the encroachment, the surroundings. It's been such a long time that we don't remember exactly. Hold on. Right? I don't know. Our collective memory, we're working on that. But even looking like, let's see. Here's Tennessee. Tennessee. I'm gonna play that while we're looking at this. I'm getting all excited. No way. Oh, some good shit. Nobody got time for that. How was your guys' days, guys? Sorry, I'm like tending to business now. But let's chill for a little bit.
Tennessee.
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 Tennessee. So we're looking at Haywood and Crockett County, Shelby, Tipton, Haywood, okay, Fayette County, African Americans, okay, Carroll and Gibson counties, Madison County, Fayette, Haywood, okay, so these are all the different communities. And these are the only American communities here. So if you trace yourself back to these, maybe I should explain more of that. I'm like, oh God, I figured it out. I'm not maybe explaining, but basically what we're finding out is our DNA is connected to the land, and we're the Americans there. They are continuing on with this paper genocide. That's why we're signing the petition. That's why we need everybody to sign. We need to get serious about this. And I know I'm just kind of like explaining, but it's like, no, I know it. We have to get excited, one, especially because we're here and we're free. Oh, if you guys are just tuning in, that was the number one message that God wanted me to tell you guys tonight, is that you're free. Okay. And we just have to allow this message to be loud enough so that we can, it's 11:11 too, so that we can reclaim our birthright, which is freedom and our identity and our land. And we can go back to the way that we want to live. If we want to, we can have our way of life back without having to, we're due for complete and immediate restoration. And it's righteous, okay? Because the time is up, the 400 years are over, okay? And it's the year of the Jubilee. Okay, Christian, okay. I need to start writing these down. The year of the Jubilee, okay? The year of the Jubilee comes every 25 years, but I also think that this was also they mentioned a longer anniversary of like maybe the first one or something. I don't know, something like that. What would that do? But basically during a Jubilee year, all of the slaves are freed, and all of the property is returned to its original owners. Okay, and that's the other thing I've been asked to come and tell everybody, was that we're free and it's the Jubilee, and we should be really excited about our restoration and about standing up and saying, hey, okay, hold on. we got you there, buddy. Okay, you know what I mean? This has been awesome, you know what I mean? But we're liberating ourselves from this at this point. And that was the other thing, like what Dr. King is, and maybe we'll just play that, and I'll maybe we'll do that in the morning. I was thinking even closer to the day, because we're coming up on that year of Martin Luther King's speech. If you want to watch it beforehand, I already posted it in the community. But even in that, he was talking about freedom. Okay, about freedom, and we're I feel like now nobody's fighting for freedom anymore, except for maybe well, okay, you know, I'll just say it like this, except for maybe and I don't want people to take this wrong, who may be listening and don't have any context for why I'm saying this, but perhaps maybe the MAGA people, okay? But I feel like in some regards, it's like, you know, some of those people, not all, okay? We can't speak in totality, okay? Right? It's like some MAGA people feel like what they're fighting for their freedom is also rooted in still maintaining white supremacy. And I guess really when you think about it, it's like, you know, if and that's another reason why they're trying to cut off all of the DEI programs, the diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think that's what that stands for. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they're canceling all those programs because they're like, we cannot empower people right now when we're trying to maintain our position of authority and superiority over people. So it's like, no, now we're not spending any money to, you know, celebrate, you know, in diversity. We're not doing any of that, you know, where we want to kind of reclaim this all white club or whatever. And I feel like the reason why they're wanting to protect freedom is because some of those MAGA people are still living the freedom and the lifestyle, the way of life that we had to leave behind to join this system. Okay. And that's another reason why it's like, you know, we could collectively just decide that, you know, we want to be free. Okay. One, we're the original Americans, and that we oppose any abolishing of our images, of our statues and stuff like that. So I've noticed that too. It's reminding me of some of those cases where, like, Civil War statues and stuff like that. Not all of the times they were, I don't know. Some of those statues and stuff are connected to history that is very important to us. And I feel like sometimes they're abolishing things, and they're doing it in the name of wanting to support a certain group, even if it's including us. But really what they're doing is erasing and hiding more history in real time. But yes. That's about it. I don't want to be on here too long, especially because I got to get up in the morning, and I know you guys do too. So I will be back. We'll discuss some more of the Trolls breakdown, and we'll build more with the Trolls and the Wreck-It Ralph as we move on. Okay. And then that's about it. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, I want us to check out our emblem. I love her. She's a bad mama Gemma. Where's she at?
The emblem of America. The emblem of America is an allegorical figure from the British Museum and is noted to be an ethnic representation of the American people. So what exactly is an emblem? According to the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, an emblem is a picture representing one thing to the eye and another to the understanding, a painted enigma, or a figure representing some obvious history, instructing us in some moral truth. Just as a balance is an emblem of justice, a crown is the emblem of royalty. A scepter is the emblem of power or sovereignty. An emblem of America represents the true American identity, the original Americans, who were here long before the settlers and are now facing erasure and misrepresentation. It's a symbol that calls us to recognize and reclaim the truth of America's real history. The emblem not only represents us, but also demands we act, holding forth moral and political instruction for the nation. The emblem is a beacon, urging us to restore the truth about the original Americans and their rightful place in history. Join us in setting the record straight. Visit the fair today.
Long before the first European ships arrived, the original Americans lived, thrived, and built civilizations across these lands. But history has stripped them of their identity, their land, and even their nationality. Who are the original Americans? The answer should be clear, yet for centuries, their identity has been erased, rewritten, and denied. We stand to change that. Our foundation is built to uplift, protect, and restore the rights of the original Americans. With our fair original American identifiers, we help reclaim what was lost, ensuring that recognition, rights, and resources reach those who rightfully deserve them. It's time to honor the past, fight for the present, and build the future. Join the movement. Reclaim the truth. Support the original Americans.
Okay, you guys. So that's what it. If you guys want, you can. There's more information at fairrules.org. Also, if you guys want to chat and stuff, I'm gonna go live from my new tarot channel. I'll put that in the thing too if you guys want to go over there and do some readings with me for a little bit before I go to bed. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna do some reading. I just looked over at my cards and stuff, and I was like, oh, you might as well do a reading or two before you go upstairs. I was like, oh, might as well go. I mean, because I'm trying to what do you call it? Start sharing more and getting getting back on social media and stuff. And so I had started this channel and I stopped and I'm coming back. So follow me on there. Let me see, fairrules.org for the website. You can reach me at Christian Stovall at fairrules.org if you wanted to send me an email. Okay, hold on. If you want to email me, it's at christianstovall@fairrules.org or just fairrules.org for the website. Like I said, we're going to continue to gather and tell these stories, and then we'll get into more and more of, like I said, the revelations that have come through about what we're going to do, how we're going to do this. I'm super excited. Are you guys excited about that? Are you guys really about that life? Who's watching right now? What's going on? But I'm serious. I'm talking about building our community, and because it's like at the end of the day, we need true representation and whatnot. And then also we can connect with representation that is already, in place and established, and teaching them who we truly are. That's really it. Okay. This is undeniable proof and connection to one, defining what an American is, as well as how that connects to us today. Okay. And that's what we're doing. And okay, the website, let me see. I have to get onto this though. Let me see. Share channel. I guess I'll try to post this too on this on the YouTube or whatever. No, oh, it's the same one. What? Hold on a second. Hold on. There we go. So it's called Original American Tarot. You can even just YouTube that too. Original American Tarot. I'll be doing readings on there periodically, you know, when I can and whatnot. And if you guys want, you guys can join me on there. I'll probably even put back on the music and whatnot. And I'll do a reading for a little bit. And then let me get out of here for the night. So I love you guys. I hope you guys are all well. Thank you so much for joining the Hush Harbor. Leave comments if you guys can. And like the video. Also that part too. Hello, I need to do some housekeeping. Okay. But that's about it. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you guys soon. I'll try to share that through the community post if you guys want to be able to follow us on there. Hey, thank you, birthday twin. Thank you, American Indian birthday twin. Our birthdays are coming up. Okay. All right. Bye. Good night, guys.